Welcome back, everyone. Our last session today is with Fabienne Fredriksson. Fabienne is a powerful mentor for solo business owners who seek to make the greatest impact they can in their work, all while creating certainty in their business and financial security in their lives. She believes that when women make their own money, and lots of it, they experience a profound feeling of safety in their life. As the founder of the leveragebusiness.com and boldheart.com, Fabienne has been a mentor to tens of thousands of women business owners over more than 20 years. Her predictable process taught in the Leverage Business program practically guarantees that the business owner will multiply their results with more downtime once implemented fully. And today she's going to walk us through Leverage Your Business. Welcome, Fabienne. Thank you so much for being today with me.
Thank you, Diana. So happy to be here.
I would like to ask you the first question, if you can tell us more about your story and how you start on this path of helping other women create their business, create their financial security.
Yes, I'd be happy to. So it started in more than 20 years ago, where I found myself working for a big corporation and realizing that it was really depleting for me, and I knew that I wasn't in the right place. And because I had been taking nutrition classes on evenings and weekends, I decided to open up my own business. And I thought, if I could just make the same amount one day that I made in my corporate job, I would be the happiest person. And I quit the job and I opened up my own business, but I did not make the money that I wanted to make right away. And I had many dark nights of the soul where I thought perhaps I had made the biggest mistake possible. And I thought about going back, but I knew that that would be soul crushing. And so I decided to make a commitment to figuring out how to make good money in my own business. And I knew that to have a successful business, you need to have clients, obviously, and to have clients, you needed to, figure out marketing and sales. And so I went on a journey for myself to create a client attraction system that I could use to fill my practice. And I did that. I figured out what would work for me. And what I noticed is a lot of the things that other people were teaching at the time, it was mostly men teaching how to do marketing and how to do sales. Those things just didn't work for me. And I had to figure out a more feminine approach to doing marketing that felt authentic to me, that felt like something I wanted to do, honor the person in the marketing, honor myself, and the same thing with sales. And I ended up creating this client attraction system that filled my practice from that moment in 8 months. And other people started asking, how did you do that? Can you teach me your client attraction system? A year later, because there was so much interest, a year later, I closed down the nutrition practice and I opened up a business coaching company. And I continued to grow and I got to, $10K a month consistently, which surpassed what I had been making working for the company before. And what I noticed is that I was working on evenings, I was working on weekends. At that point, I had a little baby. I now have 3 children. And my family would say, do you need to grow your business any longer? Because we never see you. And that was very confronting for me because I knew deep down that I wanted to see how many more people I could serve and impact, and that I wanted to see what it would be like to make more money in my business. But it didn't, what I was doing wasn't working anymore. And so what I've realized since is what gets you from 0 to 10K a month, the sales and the marketing, doing everything yourself, is not what's going to get you to multiple six figures or even seven figures. If you want to go to 250,000 a year, 500,000, 750,000, or a million, you must do things differently. And this is, I had to create now a new system for myself to scale the business, to really leverage every part of it. And within a couple of years, I was able to, it seems crazy now, but to get to a million in my business in 1 year. And that was 14 years ago. I've been at multiple seven figures, multiple million every year. And I share that for the sole purpose of perhaps opening up the possibilities for women in business who think like I never thought this was possible for myself. But perhaps this will inspire maybe somebody who's watching today that you can make a lot more than you're making now in your business. In fact, I just had tea with a woman literally 15 minutes ago, and she never thought she'd be making $500,000. She's going to make 500,000 this year. And she said, next year, I want to get to 1 million. And I said, you can. There is a definitive process to how you do it without sacrificing your life. And that is what I've been teaching to women in business now from, ever since then. And this is what I've put in my book. The book is called The Leveraged Business, how you can go from overwhelmed at six figures to seven figures and gain your life back. And it's all about leveraging a team, leveraging systems, leveraging your time, using your time completely differently than you might be using it now, shifting your business model just slightly. So instead of working one-to-one, you work one-to-many. And this is just some of the book, but that's a long answer to your short question about how I got to doing what I'm doing now.
I love that. Thank you so much, Fabienne, for sharing that with us. I would like to ask you more about this feminine energy that you mentioned. I never heard it, to be entirely honest, that actually we can have a feminine energy into the marketing and sales process. And I know, in all honesty, that I have been struggling a lot, maybe exactly because of what you said, that it's more masculine.
Yes.
It's more like pushing forward and putting it, I don't know, like all the time in front of people. What is the secret behind the feminine energy for marketing and sales?
Yeah, I'd be happy to tell you about this. So going back to the beginning of the story that I shared with you, for example, when I was closing the sale, right, having a closing the sale conversation, I would relate to somebody and it would be warm and nurturing. And then I would break out into a cold sweat knowing that I had to now close the sale, and everything that I'd learned was, like push and convince. And what I realized is this is not who I am. But back then, 20 years ago, and maybe still today in some parts, in some ways, we are taught how to push, how to make something happen or make someone do something. If you look at and that's a masculine energy, right? So the masculine energy, and I'm not saying men, I'm just saying the energy is one of pushing. It's solo, right? Just like me, it's action. The feminine energy is an energy of pulling. It's an energy of receiving, attracting. It's an energy of love and compassion and nurturing. And it's a collective energy, right, of togetherness. So I'll break it down for you. The masculine energy is doing. The feminine energy is being. Doing meaning like taking action and pushing versus pulling, right? So we've mentioned this a couple times. And if you think about marketing, if you're marketing from a feminine energy, what you're trying to do is to bring people towards you or bring people to close themselves into working with you instead of convincing. So one of the ways to do that is to just think about what the person wants. Think about your ideal client. Who are they really? Getting to know them so that you can say to them, so this is who you are. And this is what you struggle with. And this, when nobody's listening, this is what you dream about. And when somebody, especially a woman, hears, and this is actually one of the things that I put in the introduction of my book, I said, this is who you are. And this is what keeps you up at night. And this is what you dream about, but you haven't given yourself permission to have. And I can't tell you how many women have said, how do you know me so well? And they don't even finish the book. They come and they work with us. And that is, notice there is no convincing, there is no anything. It's like, here, come, I understand you. And when you are marketing with this kind of love and compassion, and I see you, and it doesn't have to be this way, and you can have what you dream about, this feminine approach, the right people will just, they'll trust you more. Instead of, let me explain it this way. Women love to buy, but they don't like to be sold to. You understand what I mean? Yes? Yeah. So we love to shop. We just don't like the pushy salesperson. But if there's a warm salesperson who tells us the truth about whether those white pants actually look good on us, as opposed to, we buy more often. So that's just one example, if you will, of doing marketing and sales in a feminine energy, something that feels right for us. And one last point about that is when we feel good about marketing, because it's a form of love, when we feel good about the way we sell, because it's about giving people a bigger future, the one that they want so badly, we want to do marketing. We want to do sales because it's a form of love. And so we do it more often, right? And instead of hiding behind our computer, we are out there so much more, letting people know that we exist.
I love that. I really love that. And you are inspiring me. Thank you so much, Fabienne, for sharing that with us. I never really thought about it this way, and I never challenged my thinking. I just took it as granted. And absolutely, it makes sense to me totally, because I feel it and I feel your energy. And I would like to ask you, how did you manage to overcome that overwhelming feeling? Because you mentioned you had it at the beginning, you didn't know how to do it. Maybe you were working too much. I know that many business owners on our platform are feeling the same, especially those who are at the beginning. How do we overcome that?
I think especially if you're in the beginning, you have more time than you have money. So what that means, at least it was the case for me, is I was doing everything myself because I didn't have the money to hire other people to help me do it. The problem is in the beginning, and then it's different when you're in the next, so I'll talk about both. In the beginning, of course, you can't hire as many people as you would want, but the way you use your time, I believe that everybody wants to, do so much. They're not realizing that there's the 80-20 rule that you may have heard about is very real in your business. And if you examine the activities that you work on, about 20% of the activities produce 80% of the clients. But we're spending 80% of the time also working on activities that only bring 20% of the clients or the money. And so if we're going to be strategic when we're first starting out, is to look at what really does work. And instead of only spending 20% of time there, you remove the 80% of the activities that are not producing that many results, and you increase the 20% activities I hope you're following me. I
Yes.
get that this could be confusing. The 20% of activities that produce 80% of results, you turn that into 80% of your time. And that is one way to stop the overwhelm, because then you're not working evenings and weekends. To get better results, you need to do less, but better. Do fewer things, but the things that actually work. And so that's when you're first starting out. And then when you're already at 10K a month consistently, and you can hire people, it's within your budget, it's time to delegate all the things that you don't know how to do, that you're not good at, that you don't love doing, that aren't getting done right now. And you teach people how to do this for you. You hire the right people, you train them well, you give them checklists and processes so you can trust them to take care of everything. And then what you have is a lot more time. I talk about this in chapter 3 of the book, Leverage Your Time. You have all this time, and this time is how you use it now to think. In the beginning, it's about doing. When you really want to go to 250, 500, 750, a million, you need more thinking time. And then it's time to work on exponential growth activities, not just doing, but thinking, what is my most strategic use of my time? What are the activities that will get me to 500,000 or a million? And that's how you use your time. And when you do that, there's no more overwhelm, whether you're starting out or really want to scale and leverage your business. You can take 14 to 16 weeks of vacation a year. You no longer work on evenings. You no longer work on weekends. And there's no more of one more email and mommy will be right there.
I can fully understand. And I am speechless, to be honest. It's really incredible what you managed to build, and everything that you identified that should work or could work for yourself, and how many women you are helping nowadays. It's incredible. And I would like to ask you something, because I grew up with a limiting belief that we cannot have it all, that we have to sacrifice something in life in order to get to a different level. And I know for women, this was my case, that I need to sacrifice maybe my personal life in order to have a career. What would you advise those women who are thinking like that?
I hear this a lot. So this is normal, Diana, but it doesn't have to be that way. So I'll start by telling you the name of my company so you understand where I come from. I changed the name of my company about 7 or 10 years ago to Bold Heart. So boldheart.com. And the reason I changed it to Bold Heart is because I have this image, and I hope that you will adopt this, and people watching this adopt this. I want you to take your ear and put it to your heart and listen hard. What is it that you want to accomplish in your life? How good will you allow yourself to have it? There are people who want to get a really big business or make really good money, but they forget about joy and bliss and pleasure and fulfillment and love and really enjoying a high quality of life. Now, your quality of life, your preferences are going to maybe be very different than mine, right? I was living in the US and I wanted to move to France. And so I've been living here for 6 years with my husband and my 3 kids, and we love Provence. So we're buying a house in Provence. I share this again. I want you to think about, we've also, we've built 26 schools in Africa, all these things, because those are the things that I'm passionate about and make me happy. I want you to think about what makes you happy. Put your ear to your heart and listen hard to what makes you happy, what would make you happy, what would be a high quality of life for you. And then the bold part of Bold Heart is to boldly go after that and say, well, does it have to be one or the other? Why can't I have both? And where do I stop in my journey to having that and why. And then it's basically about committing, right? Deciding that you can have anything you want and giving yourself permission to have it, and basically figuring out how you're going to get that. And there is always a way. So for me, and this is what I do with all of our women business owners within Bold Heart, is I say, okay, yes, how much money do you want to make? But what do you want your life to look like in 3 to 5 years? What is it that will make you say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get paid to do this. I can't believe this is my life. And I know that to some people that sounds overly positive, but this is exactly what we do. Every year, hundreds of women in our program are reaching new levels of income and creating a life that they love. The way you do it, like I said, is to decide, to make a commitment, and then reverse engineer how you will get there. What needs to happen for me to have this life that I want? Seek out help. Who will help you reach your goals faster? This is where you could maybe do it on your own in 10 years, 20 years, but when you seek out help from somebody, you collapse 20 years into 2 years, 10 years, you collapse into 1 year. And then you do the next right step again and again and again, right? If I've reverse engineered how I want to live this life and make this money, then what do I need to do? And just show up and do it. It's easier when you have help. Otherwise, you probably, if you could have done it on your own, you probably would have already.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Fabienne. And I would like to ask you next, if you can tell us more about those steps that you mentioned, that it's a different process between 0 to 10K, and it's a whole different process between 10K to 1 million. Can you elaborate a bit more about that? Because I know that we have many coaches on our platform who don't know exactly what to do.
Yes, the first part, so I'll mention this again, getting to 10K is about doing, and getting from 10K to 100K a month is about thinking, okay? And it's about how you can, because what got you to 10K a month is not all the activities, the mindset, the way that you show up, the way that you think, your belief systems, what got you here will not get you there. So it's almost like you have to transform a bit on the inside, right? And the way you do that is to use leverage, okay? I hope that if anyone here is wondering how to get to 1 million, it's all right here in 8 chapters, but I will tell you what they are right now, just so you understand. The first is to leverage a team. There is no such thing as a self-made millionaire, okay? We cannot do it alone. There's too much to do. So it's about hiring people that we trust using the process that I talk about in the book, and hiring for where you want to be, not for where you are right now, and delegating properly. That's leveraging a team. Then you want to leverage systems. Why? Because anything that is not documented cannot be scaled. So you want to document systems, create a process-driven company, as opposed to an individual personality-driven company. It's got to be about processes. And when you have processes for everything, you can scale those. The team can run the processes, so you don't have to be in the day-to-day operations of your business. And when you're no longer in the day-to-day operations of your business, this leads us to leverage your time. And leveraging your time means, okay, well, now I'm no longer in the day-to-day operations of the business. I have all this time. How will I use my time? Do I use it to do the same little activities that got me to 10K a month? Or will I leverage my time to do the things that will get me exponentially bigger results? This is what we teach women in our program to do. Sometimes they don't know what those activities are, and we show them, we tell them, we customize a plan so that in 24 months, they are either on their way to 1 million or they are at 1 million. Number 4 is leverage your business model. What gets you to 10K a month is one-to-one, right? One-to-one clients, one-to-one marketing, all of that. If you want to go to, let's say, 1 million, I know that for many people that's like, what? I never thought that would be possible. You need to have 10 times the number of clients, maybe more. How do you do that? Well, you yourself can't handle 10 times the number of one-to-one clients. But then when we leverage your business model, there's not a single business model that can't be leveraged to work with 10 times more clients or customers, whether it's a program or whether it's associates or whether it's technology or products. There's, this is where I step in and I create your business model with you. And then you move to the next one, which is to leverage your marketing. And the marketing that we're looking for is just to turn up the volume on you sharing your message with the world, but not in a way that has you do everything. It's about using your intellectual property to market in a much bigger way so that, yes, it's urgent. So that more people find out about you. And then the last 2 activators or leverage, these are the chapters in the book, and the activators within our program is to leverage your accountability, which means that you get your team to help you grow the business. So you're not doing it all by yourself. And we do that in a culture of accountability. This is more advanced. And then the last one is to leverage your lifestyle by hiring a second in command. Again, this is not what we do in the first year because it's too early. But once you have the team, the systems, the time, you're using it differently, you hire somebody part-time to help run the business with you and for you. And this is what allows you to continue to scale the business to 1 million and also take unplugged vacations for, as many as you like. I take 16 weeks of vacations a year. I'm about to go on 2 weeks of vacation right now. And this is where you enjoy your family. You enjoy travel. You enjoy being instead of always doing. And I believe that this is the way to be very happy in the sense of you're doing the things you are passionate about. You're doing it on your own terms, freedom, right? It allows you to make very good money, lots of it, so that you don't worry about money ever again. And it also allows you to have the freedom and the impact, which is probably why you got in business in the first place. So with all of that, I believe that you can have it all, whatever all means to you.
I love that. Thank you so much, Fabienne. I really love it. And I am sure that all the women who are listening to us also love it and are inspired by your story and your life lessons and your experience. And I would like to ask you before we close today, how can people contact you if they want to work with you?
Thank you for that. Well, you can find me at boldheart.com. And like bold and heart, like we mentioned. And there is, you can get the book on that same website. And if you go to the navigation bar, just for yourself, just to be inspired about what's possible for you, go look at the success stories of our members. Watch video after video after video of people just like pop. She's at 500,000, pop, she's at 10K a month, pop, she's at 1 million, and allow that, this is for you, right? But allow that to go into your consciousness so that you believe bigger for yourself. And then if it ever speaks to you, you can go to the tab that says, talk to a coach or something like that. And we'd be happy to hear about your situation and see if we're a fit.
Thank you so much, Fabienne. I will buy the book. Yes. Because I would also like to learn from you. Thank you so much once again for being today with me. I am honored and I'm grateful to have you here on this platform.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.